Hello, hello. Heather Jean here. Another edition of Confidence with Coffee. I've got a fresh cup of coffee, which I'm so excited to have because I really need some caffeine today. You know, you have those days. Well, this week's podcast was all about authentic confidence for success. And in this segment of Confidence with Coffee, we talk about kind of an extension of the podcast or the vodcast. So first of all, Confidence Through Cabaret, anywhere you get your podcasts, you'll be able to find this week's episode, authentic confidence for success. So if you're here on the YouTube channel, then please like and subscribe, and then jump over to the vodcast playlist and you'll find the video version of the podcast. And in this segment, Confidence with Coffee, then it was designed to really kind of have an opportunity to either highlight something that the podcast guest has talked about, or to be able to share something of my own that I didn't want to hijack the podcast with, because I really try and honor my guests. I like it to be a collaborative relationship, and I like to hear what the guest has to say. And I find it frustrating when I go on a podcast and I want to hear the guest and all I can hear is the host. And I'm thinking, I've heard from you lots of times. I really want to hear this guest. Sometimes that's why I'm even on the podcast episode in the first place. So my dog is here with me as usual. Good afternoon, Chase. So the last 3 weeks, I did a solo podcast and vodcast, which was about personal life confidence, work life confidence, and stage life confidence, whatever your stage is. Do go and check those out. It's really kind of some of my favorite tips that I've learned from guests, but also my own experience in over 25 years of being a training consultant and coach. And I really, I enjoyed doing that series of 3 parts, and it was meant to be 3 parts. And then I would go back to having my guests as usual. Although this week, 2 guests, including one of the co-pioneers of Confidence Through Cabaret, let me down and wasn't able to do it. And so I needed to come up with a new podcast episode for this week. And I decided on authentic confidence because I think authenticity is something that can be difficult to talk about. So do go and check out that episode. I have a little clip for you, which I'll show you in a minute. But I really came to that inspiration for that episode from going on confidencethroughcabaret.com and seeing, what are the masterclasses, what have people shared with us. So on confidencethroughcabaret.com, if you haven't been there before, first of all, on the landing page, there's lots of things for you to have a look at and download. The podcasts are there, podcasts that I've appeared on for other people. Lots of, there's a couple of downloads there. There's lots of information. And then inside the member suite, if you're a member, then there are masterclasses, and there are workshops, and there's a new masterclass or workshop every single month. So that is based on your personal life, your work life, or your stage life. And there's also some dance and some movement. There's some floor exercise. There's some, as in, flow and movement. There is chair exercise. We talk about moving with props. There's also workshop on makeup. In fact, there's 3 workshops on makeup in different ways, around playing with bringing out your character, around, just kind of preparing yourself for how you want to appear, or just, some of the makeup basics. So each of the master classes that are presented are done with people who are experts in their field or in their subject. And then I prepare a workbook that goes along with it for you to use either after, or to pause the master classes as you're working through them and do your own work as you go along. And that's my expertise, among other things, as a training consultant, in preparing training materials and workbooks and so on. Because I really think it's one thing to watch those things and say, that's interesting, or even to get a workbook where you fill in the blanks, and so you have to be listening, or the workbooks where it's not really a workbook, it's like a textbook. I never use those things, and I like to be able to express and find my own meaning from what the speaker's talking about. So that's what's going on at confidencethroughcabaret.com. And for the first time ever, I shared, I think it was 8 clips from different masterclasses as they related to authenticity. So back to how this subject came up as a podcast idea was very much about, what do all of these masterclasses and workshops have in common? And it is about really expressing ourselves. And that is what Confidence Through Cabaret is all about, is owning our space unapologetically, expressing ourselves in a way that is assertive, but is also true to ourselves and authentic, and having that right to know what you want and to be able to have it. So that's kind of the background of this week's episode. And like I say, there's a lot more information in there. I'm not going to go into it all. I had to cut the podcast a little bit short because I didn't want it to go on so too long. But I had so much more to share. So let's have a look at the clip that I've chosen from this week's podcast or podcast. But when we are in our space of living our meaningful life, knowing ourselves, then we experience pleasure in different ways. We experience situations and adventures in different ways, and we really have that sense of value for ourselves, value for the things that we need to be grateful for. You'll know if you've been around for a little while, I'm a huge fan of gratitude. That has changed my life. And I used to do it in a tick box way where I would write down 3 things I was grateful for at bedtime, and nothing happened. And that's because I wasn't really truly embodying that gratitude and grace of what I was thankful for. And so now I skip the writing stuff and I just really kind of dive into it and feel it in my body and mind. And that's a huge part of living authentically, is being able to sense that value in alignment with your own personal values. Okay, so that's just a very small part of it, a very small audio clip of it. But I normally would isolate the audio or the video clip that I want to use for Confidence with Coffee, and then I would film the Confidence with Coffee immediately afterwards, because my thoughts are fresh in my mind. I still got my notes and so on. But I didn't have an opportunity to yesterday. I was running a jazz event last night, so I had to leave it and pick it up today. And I'm going to be really authentic with you. I am not feeling it today. I'm listening to this clip and I do believe everything I said in that clip. Gratitude is important, authenticity is important, being unapologetic, and having unshakable confidence. But unshakable confidence doesn't mean that you have confidence all of the time. It means that when we go down into the low days or low moments, that we don't stay down as long and we don't go anywhere near as far down that path. And today, I'm just not feeling it. I am still very grateful. I have still meditated. I have spent some time in reflection with some of the teachers that I prefer. And I'm just not feeling it. And I wanted to come and record now while I'm in that zone, because it's not very often, and it's not a question of my confidence is shaken, because I am still every bit as confident. But I don't want to practice today. I've done quite a lot already, but I'm just having a low energy day. And when we're authentic and we know ourselves and we know what we want and we know where we're headed, we get to have those days and go, well, that's okay. That's okay that I just don't feel the energy or the positivity for it. That's okay that I don't, I'm quite drained and tired today. And the difference is, I used to judge that and say, that's not okay. Don't be ridiculous. You're being lazy, or you're being silly, or you're wasting your time, or, all this internal dialogue that wasn't helpful. And what I've found as I've worked through the practice of authenticity is that I can acknowledge, I can notice and acknowledge, I can feel and allow those feelings of not so good days as well as great days. But I don't judge them, and that is the difference. So I don't say, well, this feeling of low energy means you're being lazy. This feeling of not feeling motivated means you've lost your direction. I used to put a this means that, and I don't anymore. I just go, there it is. That's what I'm feeling, and that's what I'm experiencing, and that's okay, and let that go. And if today is a complete write-off, where are we now? It's 5 o'clock in the evening. So I have done some things. I've done some of my domestic things in terms of bills and mobile phone plans and all that kind of stuff. So I've done quite a lot of things today, but I haven't done the work list that I wanted to do today. And before I would have gone into the evening way late. And not because I wanted to. See, I worked till midnight the other night because I wanted to, because I loved what I was doing and I didn't want to put it down. But sometimes I will force myself, or I used to force myself to working really late because I didn't get enough done in the day because I was being lazy, or however you want to say it. And I think, it's important that we're able to be authentic and say, I don't feel like putting on makeup today. I don't feel like getting dressed up today. I don't feel like doing all the work list of stuff today because I'm energetically exhausted, and that's okay. And just notice, this is what I'm finding, and honoring that, and allowing that. And that doesn't take away from the things that I want, or the things that I need to do, or whatever it is. This is just a drained day. So sometimes we have those days where we float, and I talk about this in the podcast or vodcast, where everything is bobbing along. And then there are other days when I start to go under the water. And by having authentic confidence, I'm never going so far down in the water that I'm in over my head, or in to the point of feeling drowning. I'm just bobbing under the surface today. And I rarely go lower than that anymore. Um, I think, when you think about what motivates you, which is willingness to put energy into something, you have to know what your motivators are. And for me now, in learning to honor those days when we're just bobbing under the surface, then what motivates me is to allow and to rest and to recover. And that causes me to be even more willing to put energy into something tomorrow. So just checking what my dog has gotten hold of. So I did want to show you another clip that I didn't manage to use on the podcast vodcast, which I just wanted to come back and maybe shed a little bit more light on, because I touched on it very briefly in the episode, but I wanted to spend a little bit more time on it. And this is a clip from uh, lifestyle engineer Kelly Lupton, and it is well, I won't say any more than that. Let's just watch the beautiful Kelly explain lifestyle engineering in terms of our thought processes. Have a look.
Processes anywhere between 10,000 to 100,000 thoughts per day, which is faster than any computer on the face of the earth right now. So anybody who's going, oh, technology is great, trust me, your brain is so much better. Most of those thoughts are subconscious. We don't even realize that they're happening. A lot of those thoughts that are subconscious have to do with, gee whiz, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, oh, I need to use the bathroom. It's stuff that helps us control those things. But then there's also the other subconscious thoughts that come along with it, is that when we experience things, we have this thought and it's so quick, you never even know you had it. So of course, subconscious. And most of those are negative in nature, just because that's the way the brain evolved, is to protect us. So it's always looking out for danger. So it's always looking for that negative piece. So it's going to feed it to you too. So you can't see the main job is to keep you alive and safe. So anytime we face things like change, our brain goes, oh, that's dangerous. That's not good. Anything that makes us feel uncertain, our brain goes, oh, no, that's dangerous. It's not good. Stay away. So anything that makes us feel comfortable, our brain goes, oh, that's safe and that's good. Well, staying where we are makes us feel comfortable, because change, well, our brain goes, nope, that's dangerous. It's bad for you.
Yeah, and that's about comfort zones, right? So when I said that the story I used to tell myself was, all of these bad thoughts or all of these negative thoughts or all these very draining thoughts about, I'm being lazy or, I've lost my way or I'm feeling depressed or, and I'm not belittling those things if they're real, but I used to make them mean those things. And I think, when we learn to push ourselves out of our comfort zones, when we learn to, try new things, that's when we start to go, actually, there's other things I can be doing. Actually, there's other ways I can be looking at this. And it opens up our mind. I'm going to put my coffee down for a second because I need gestures. From being in this fight, flight, or freeze where we're blinkered into opening our minds and going, okay, there's other ways to look at this. And actually, I'm not being lazy. I'm not doing nothing. I'm resting. I'm recovering. I'm honoring how I'm feeling without judgment. And I think, the more that we can chip away at pushing out the comfort zone, just little bit by little bit, and broadening what's possible and what we do, then the more perspective, the more broad perspective we have available to us. So I wanted to share that clip in the podcast, and I think, this is a beautiful example of, me kind of shifting my thinking because I pushed my comfort zone. My comfort zone used to be, I want to stay in bed, or I want to be mad at myself, or I want to be mad at the world. And now I can look at it and say, okay, I'm still got those same feelings, but I have different perspectives because I've opened up my comfort zone. Also, I am all for pushing your comfort zone to try new things, because being terrified, being thrilled, being excited, the feeling in your body is the same. I've said this lots of times on lots of these videos now, but being able to be exhilarated, it makes us feel alive, and that is wonderful, and it is way cheaper than plastic surgery, just say it. But I think when we try something new, we're very quick to again judge. Is it a failure? Was it a success? Was it, oh, it wasn't as much of a success as I wanted it to be, so it wasn't really a success, and we don't celebrate, right? And the fact that we showed up and we did it and we tried it, it doesn't matter what the results are, that is worth celebrating in itself. And that whole kind of piece comes from trying new things. If you stay in that safe little comfort zone, you won't experience the highs and lows. It's like flatlining. So go check out the podcast of the Vodcast. Also, I'm available on all of the socials. There is lots of Confidence Through Cabaret content. You join me in the Facebook community, Confidence Through Cabaret. I hang out in there all the time. We're starting a spring clean challenge next week, which if you're watching this much later, you can still jump in. It'll be in the guide section and you'll be able to pick up those videos. It's the second year we've done spring clean challenge. And it's really just about, kind of re-energizing ourselves and getting ready for the new season, wherever you are and whatever your new season is. So Confidence Through Cabaret on all of the socials. Drop me a message. I'm Heather Jean on all of the socials, mostly on Facebook Messenger or on the Confidence Through Cabaret page is where you'll find me. We are Confidence Through Cabaret everywhere except for Twitter. Couldn't think of it. I was going to say TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. Actually, I am, but I'm not active on it. But Twitter is at YBYWYS. I told you I'm a little off today. We are also Clubhouse. Confidence and Attitudes is the club. I am at Heather YBYWYS, and those 6 beautiful letters stand for it is your body. And it is your world, and it is your stage. And no matter how you're feeling, and no matter what is happening for you, embrace that it is your space to own. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Looking for my outro. I have a new outro. There we go. Ready? Bye for now.